Hello friends, welcome to Gardening Mindfully. I'm Zenith and I hope you're having a truly amazing day. In this video we'll be talking about a house plant, and it's not just any house plant. If you are looking for a plant that is both captivating and unique, this pink quill is the plant for you. Pink quill is an air plant or an epiphyte. What that basically means is that the plant does not need soil in order to grow and to thrive. As a matter of fact, the pink quill captures moisture and nutrients through its leaves. We'll talk more about how to care and maintain pink quill right after this. Stay tuned. The botanical name for pink quill is Tillandsia cyanea. It is native to the rainforest in Ecuador and also northern Mexico. You will notice that the plant is stemless. It does not have a true stem at all. Basically, it has these leaves that are thin, narrow, and curving, and they form a sort of a rosette. And in the center of the rosette is this pink paddle-shaped floret that's called a quill, but the correct name is a bract. So this is a bract, it is not the flower. The true flowers of the pink quill are these violet blue blooms right here. Taking a closer look now, you can clearly see the pink paddle-shaped quill or bract in the center of the rosette, and the two purplish blue violet flowers are on either side of the bract. The bract will generally produce two flowers at a time, and so generally you'll see the flowers alternating on each side. Now the bract will last generally about 4 months, but each of these flowers will last only a couple of days. So these actually started blooming yesterday, and so it generally after 2 days the flowers will disappear and you'll have two more flowers. Pink quill is a perennial herbaceous flowering plant in the bromeliad family. So here you'll notice that my pink quill is in the center, and on either side there are bromeliads. So the pink quill is in the bromeliad family. However, it's also known as an air plant. Pink quill is considered an air plant because its root system is designed to anchor it to other plants or surfaces that they use for support. They do not need soil in order to grow and collect nutrients and water from the air. In the wild, they can often be found clinging to surfaces like tree branches, bark, and bare rocks. In early 2017, pink quill was removed from the plant genus Tillandsia to Wallisia after DNA testing. Therefore, the name was changed from Tillandsia cyanea to Wallisia cyanea. When it comes to soil, as I mentioned earlier, your pink quill does not need soil in order to grow and to thrive. My plant is grown in an orchid mix just to keep the roots anchored. I'm using an orchid mix because the pink quill needs excellent drainage. When it comes to water, pink quill thrives in dry soil and requires very little water in order to grow. Therefore, it's important to water only when dry. The best way I find to water my pink quill plant is to mist the leaves 2 times each week in the spring and summer months. During the winter months, I water my plant once monthly. As an alternative, you can place your pink quill plant in a container of water to hydrate the roots. Now let's talk about light. The light conditions for your pink quill plant is bright indirect light. Bright light helps the plant to bloom. However, placing the plant in direct sunlight will cause burning. The thing to remember here is a natural growing condition of the plant in its native habitat. In the wild, the pink quill is an understory plant that grows on trees, in crevices, and even on the forest floor, attaching themselves to surfaces for support. Therefore, they are not exposed to direct sun. Consequently, placing the plant in full sun is not a desired location for your pink quill plant. When it comes to fertilizing, pink quill does not need to be fertilized, which is similar to bromeliads. If your preference is to fertilize, I would suggest using a diluted orchid fertilizer and only fertilize during the spring and summer months. Generally, I do not fertilize my bromeliads, so I do not fertilize my pink quill plant. If you are in growing zones 9 to 12, you can grow pink quill outdoors. For us in zone 8 and lower, pink quill is grown as a houseplant in average room temperature, which is 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Now let's talk about propagation. In other words, how does the plant multiply? How can we get more pink quill plants? One way is by seed. When we propagate our pink quill by seed, it generally will take 3 years before the plant flowers. The second and easiest way to propagate pink quill is by pops or offsets. Generally, after flowering, your pink quill will produce pops or offsets that sprout at the base of the mother plant. You can easily remove these pops or offsets with a short knife and pot them up for a brand new pink quill plant. One thing I'd like to point out is that after the pops or offsets develops, the mother plant will die. However, do not be alarmed by this, as it's a natural part of the process that generally happens to plants in the bromeliad family. To be successful growing the pink quill plant, there are 3 things to remember. 1. Light. Bright indirect light, like an east or west facing window, is ideal for growing the pink quill plant. If you choose to place your plant outdoors during the spring or summer months, a shady location is best. 2 is water. It's important to remember that pink quill should be watered sparingly. Misting with water a couple times weekly during the spring and summer months is all the water your plant needs. During the winter months, water once monthly is ideal. The third thing to remember to have a happy, healthy pink quill plant is good air circulation. This one is not a surprise, as air movement helps to prevent fungal and bacterial diseases. If you get these 3 conditions right, your pink quill plant will not only thrive and grow, it will bring you lots of joy. Thank you so very much for joining me. If you enjoyed this plant profile, please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to Gardening Mindfully. Have a great day and happy gardening. See you in the next video.